Hello and welcome to City View for your close-up view of the City of Columbia. I'm your host, Leshia Utsey. We start off our program with the announcement of the 2014 official City Ornament for this year.
For more than 20 years, the City of Columbia has been partnering with the Babcock Center Foundation to help raise money so that Midlands residents with lifelong disabilities like autism, Down syndrome, as well as those with debilitating brain and spinal cord injuries can receive the training they need to develop those skills critical to living a full and productive life. The Babcock Christmas Ornament is about making a difference in the lives of some of our most vulnerable residents. It's about creating hope, and as such, it exemplifies our city's oldest traditions of family and community.
It's really a wonderful thing. The board every year has several possible subjects to choose from, and this year it was just a really easy decision with the opening of the expansion of the museum. The board tries to come up with something that's going to be meaningful every year, and this certainly is, and we are so grateful to the museum for letting us capture this historic moment. The funds raised from this ornament help us to enrich the lives of people with lifelong disabilities by helping pay for some of the amenities of life that you and I take for granted. So it means a lot to us and to the people we support.
Several months ago, citizens came out en masse to share their input about the future of Columbia. And recently, city staff hosted the Plan Columbia open house and shared the land use plan that has been drafted for our city.
At the meeting today, people are going to be able to learn a little bit about, from what their comments were in June at our public workshop meetings. They provide us a lot of information, and so we've gathered that information and put it together in sort of a plan for land use. And they talked a lot about development types and things they wanted to see in the future in Columbia. And so we've put that all together into a land use plan, and so they're going to be able to see details about that. Details about the continuation of the concepts and the discussions of the development types. They're going to have large maps they can look at, they can engage in, they can make suggestions right on them. There are some videos for them to look at, there's display boards, lots of reading information, and then also just discussions with their neighbors and other people to talk about the different types of development that should occur in the city. So what's next is actually after today, after these two open houses, we're going to go back and make some revisions based on the comments that people have commented on and provided to us. And we're going to make some tweaks to the plan, and then we're going to take that plan to the Planning Commission, and then they will make a recommendation to City Council, and then that will be forwarded to City Council for their consideration as well as a public hearing. And then after that, after the public hearing, and the consideration and possibly a few little tweaks, it would be adopted, and then going to the next phase would be kind of our third phase of this project, and that is actually early next, late winter, early spring, we're going to be starting with discussions about our zoning code and our development ordinance to talk about how do we develop a set of tools that will allow us to implement this planning vision for the city so we can actually see it actually occur.
Not only is land use important to the development of our community, but also to community development overall. Community development staff recently held the Community Development Block Grant Notice of Financial Assistance technical meeting in order to inform citizens about funds that are available to help support our community.
It is required for anyone who wants to apply for Community Development Block Grant funding for the upcoming fiscal year. They are required to attend at least one of the workshops. On November 6th, it is the first workshop, and then we'll have a subsequent one on November 13th. Community development through the CDBG Block Grant, we have about $1.4 million that's going to be available for the upcoming fiscal year. So it is critical that individuals, whether they're nonprofit or for-profit, neighborhoods, come out so that they can find out what the regulations are in order to apply. So it's very critical. We want to get this money out. These funds are through the Department of Housing and Urban Development, And so we really want to make sure that the community is aware that these funds are available and that they know all the regulations required in order to apply.
The financial future of families in our community is of grave concern to the City of Columbia. In order to help citizens, community development staff have been hosting a series of financial literacy workshops called Fresh Start.
Start Fresh workshops, they're pretty much financial education workshops that help individuals or residents of Columbia with their finances, their personal finances, budgeting, savings, learning about checking accounts, savings accounts, and how to build and repair your credit. And the 2 workshops that we have coming up in November and December, they're pretty much that. They're going to help individuals with those problems that they've been having with their budgets or understanding credit. And it's been the workshops that we had before, it's pretty been educational and fun at the same time. So we encourage as many people to come out and participate and be pretty much financially aware of their personal finances.
Staff with the Columbia Police Department work in our community in various capacities. One area that may not be knowledgeable to most citizens is the area of human trafficking. Deputy Chief Melron Kelly shares more.
This comes along with the training that we provide to all of our employees, especially our police officers, in being able to, one, identify a trafficked individual, and a city as a whole, a community as a whole, for us to say that we're not going to tolerate it. Now, we're not going to catch everybody. That's just the truth of the nature. But the more prepared we are on the front end to prevent it, sends a message to the traffickers. They were able to set up shop here in North Columbia because they saw a weakness in the system, in the case that I worked. So our preparedness on the front end, our laws on the front end, our coming together as a team on the front end will prevent some groups to feel comfortable enough to set up shop here. So it goes beyond any sporting event or team or place. If they feel comfortable enough to set up here, they'll do that. We found that, like she said, they would set up shop in West Columbia and go to the flea market on a Wednesday and a Saturday and pass out cards saying, hey, this girl will be at this hotel at this time, come see her. And that's how they would get the word out. Pretty ingenious, if you will, but they saw a weakness in the system. Nope, we don't have a whole lot of police officers at the flea markets on Wednesdays and Saturdays. We had one Lexington County deputy assigned there, we found. So he wasn't able to stop them from handing out the cards. So we have to target harden as it relates to being prepared as a community to stop it, regardless of where it is.
Join us on November 11th at 11 a.m. at the corner of Sumter and Laurel Streets for the City of Columbia's annual Veterans Day Parade.
Well, we're excited to host the 36th Annual Veterans Day Parade next Tuesday on the 11th. The parade begins at 11 o'clock. It's a great opportunity for us to share our appreciation and recognize the contributions of our veteran population, and also to make that connection with our Fort Jackson community, which is such a huge part of the Columbia area. This is one of the largest Veterans Day parades in the Southeast. So Columbia has the distinction of hosting a large event that recognizes the contributions of our military personnel and their families.
In addition to the City of Columbia's annual Veterans Day Parade, the City of Columbia will also host the unveiling of a special statue at Memorial Park. The statue is that of a sailor and has been donated by Henry Creed and his family members in honor and memory of South Carolina Navy veterans.
The reason people ought to come on Veterans Day is to come to this beautiful park, an oasis in the middle of our city that remembers all of the sacrifices that were made to keep us a free country. And this new monument honors all of those South Carolinians who served in the Navy. It's a day of great pride for all Americans, but in South Carolina we're taking an extra step to remember those who served in the Atlantic and Pacific in turning back the forces of darkness in World War II. This is a tremendous gift of generosity by one man, Henry Creed, born in the city, who never forgot his roots, he never forgot his comrades, he never forgot his country. That's why we ought to show out in great numbers to show our gratitude.
Thank you for joining us for City View. That wraps up this edition, and make sure you stay tuned to City TV for all of the latest news and highlights from the City of Columbia.